Welcome to Confluencism 101. Confluencism is a hybrid economic system that combines elements of socialism and capitalism to create a balanced and fair economic environment. However, there are several misconceptions about Confluencism that need to be clarified. The first misconception about Confluencism is how socialist or how many things it takes from socialism. Confluencism integrates principles from both socialism and capitalism while emphasizing worker ownership and profit sharing, which is a socialist principle. It also maintains a market-based economy, which is a capitalist principle. This hybrid approach aims to leverage the strengths of both systems to create an equitable and efficient economy. Misconception 2. Confluencism eliminates private ownership. In Confluencism, workers are the business owners. This means that ownership is distributed among the employees who collectively own and manage the company. There are still higher ups, such as a president who is elected by the workers, and a board of directors who oversee the company's operations, etc. This structure ensures that companies are run democratically and in the best interest of workers. Confluencism is anti-innovation. Confluencism encourages innovation by rewarding workers based on their contributions. By ensuring that workers share in the profits, Confluencism motivates employees to be more productive and innovative as their efforts directly impact their earnings. Ownership share distribution in different types of companies. Confluencism allows companies to distribute ownership shares to their workers, ensuring fair profit sharing and aligning workers' interests with the company's success. Let's explore how this can be implemented in different types of companies, considering various contributions. Google, a tech company, distributes 100% of its profits to its employees, including, higher-ups like the president and the board of directors. Ownership shares are allocated based on multiple factors such as, let's give a few examples here. Lines of code written. A coder who writes a significant amount of code may receive a higher percentage of ownership. Contributions to a major project or successful product launches can also be considered. Participation in team efforts and collaboration can be factored in. Innovation and problem solving. Employees who come up with innovative solutions or critical problems can be rewarded with ownership shares. Google ensures, a minimum wage of $20 that guarantees an income for its employees. After paying the minimum wage, the remaining profits are distributed based on the ownership shares. For example, if Google makes $1 million, the entire $1 million is distributed to the employees based on their designated ownership percentages, which is tracked by how much they contributed to the company based on how the company wants to weight it. There's so many different nuances and things like that can't exactly be explained just by what they put in monetarily, which was the example, or which was one model I guess you could use for a business in Confluencism. The main takeaway here is that when you work harder in the system that your business gives you, everybody in that business is going to be working for the same for the same thing, which is a larger ownership of the business. And sometimes your job may not directly contribute right away to some sort of earnings, like the plumbing company example I gave in my first video. However, if all the workers are working towards or working within the same frameworks, like lines of code written or project contributions, the examples I gave before, it would give everybody a level playing field. And if you work harder than somebody else, you are to see a higher profit. So another example could be a factory company. So say a worker who contributes to a higher production output, they shall receive a higher percentage of ownership. Quality control. Contributions to maintaining or improving product quality can be considered as a way to track this. Efficiency improvements. Employees who suggest or implement efficiency improvements can be rewarded. After paying the minimum wage to all the workers in this company, the rest of the profits would go to the workers. There are a few things with this that I will talk about later in the video. Principles of Confluencism from socialism and capitalism. Confluencism draws principles from both socialism and capitalism to maintain and create a balanced economy that promotes fairness and efficiency. Principles from socialism. Worker ownership. Confluencism emphasizes worker ownership and profit sharing. By distributing ownership shares to workers, Confluencism ensures that employees have a stake in the company's success and ensuring that everyone is able to share the profits. Confluencism guarantees a minimum wage for all workers, ensuring minimum standards of living. This principle ensures that all employees have financial security and can meet their basic needs. Principles of capitalism that are present in Confluencism. So there are market mechanisms involved in Confluencism. It utilizes market mechanisms to allocate resources efficiently. This includes supply and demand dynamics, price signals, and competition, which help in optimizing the production and distribution of goods and services. In Confluencism, there still is a profit motive. The system allows for profit making as an incentive for businesses to operate efficiently and innovate. However, it aims to balance this with social welfare considerations to ensure equitable distribution of wealth. Capital accumulation. Confluencism recognizes the importance of capital accumulation for economic development. It encourages saving and investments to build capital that can be used to further growth and development. Democratic business formation is a key aspect of Confluencism, where workers have a say in business decisions. However, there is a misconception about this, and it needs to be addressed. So I got a comment. I'm not going to say who it is, but they said that the democratic business formation in Confluencism is similar to NIMBYism. So democratic business formation is not the same as NIMBYism. While NIMBYism involves opposing development in one's own neighborhood, democratic business formation involves workers having a say in business decisions. This ensures that business operations align with the interests of the workers and the local community that it would or is already in. How it works. In a democratic business formation, workers participate in decision-making such as setting company policies, determining profit distribution, and making strategic decisions. This participatory approach ensures that business decisions are made in the best interests of workers and the community, promoting transparency and accountability. So that's the democratic business formation as it stands when the business is already structured. So when a business is coming in, I talked about this in the video, my first video, and I talked about how the democratic business formation would allow a ethical pre-screening process before this to filter out ideas that may not be of the best standard. But that doesn't mean these ideas would be thrown away. It just puts them in a category of like a ranking system. So we could have a ranking system of we think this business is a 10 out of 10, and like based on the community standards that are set out at the time, for example, right? So if the business is like, or if the community is like, okay, we need X type of company in our we do need this in our community, the people in that who are elected to that position would say, okay, we're looking for XX XXXXX criteria. They don't like Y criteria. So it's like it basically just allows the community to say yes, we want this, and no, we want this, And like I was saying before, it's not similar to NIMBYism because it's not a reactive approach. And it's actually a proactive approach to business formation. So with NIMBYism, right, there was an example. It was like we don't want a power plant, a coal power plant or something, in our neighborhood because it creates emissions, it creates this. In Confluencism, it would say, okay, we do need this, and this. Implementation strategies. Implementing Confluencism in different industries required tailored strategies to address unique challenges and leverage opportunities. Here are some strategies for successful implementation. Providing education and training to workers about the principles and practices of Confluencism. This ensures employees understand their role and responsibilities in the new system. Gradual training. Implement Confluencism gradually to allow workers in management to adapt to their new system, starting with pilot projects and expand based on success and feedback. Legal and regulatory support. Working with policymakers to create legal and regulatory frameworks that support Confluencism. This includes recognizing worker ownership and structures and ensuring compliance with labor laws. Engaging with the community to build support for Confluencism. Highlighting the benefits of the system, such as increased job security, fair profit distribution, and community development. Like I've talked about, with the fluctuating ownership model, that's what I'm referring to when I say fair profit distribution. Regularly monitor and evaluate the implementation of Confluencism to identify areas for improvement. Using feedback from workers and stakeholders to make necessary adjustments. So let me talk about what stakeholders would look like in Confluencism compared to regular capitalism. So instead of, investors in a company, a partial ownership in the business based on what they paid, instead, it would be sort of like a bank interest loan, right? When you get a loan from a bank, you are to pay back with interest over X period of time. And if you don't do that, you will suffer like penalties, of course. And when you take investments in, right, as a business, you are to see if these investments are worthwhile, right? So when someone invests in your company, instead of them buying partial ownership in your business, you instead would see just a set return, right? So that would be up to the stakeholder or the investor in the business. So say for example, you give a $200,000 loan to Google, right? Right. And all they wanted was a 2% return on that, right? So that's what, if the company just wanted a 2% return on their $200,000 investment, of course, this is just an example. These terms can always be adjusted or negotiated between the business owner and the investor. So say in the example, they had a $200,000 investment. They had a $2,000, or rather a 2% return on that. It would only be $4,000. So that's not a large return for the investor, and it's not a large risk for the company to be taking that investment. So of course that's an example of a low return for that investor, and a low risk investment for the business. So what would be an example of a successful implementation? So a tech company successfully implementing Confluencism by distributing ownership shares based on contributions and innovation and project success. And for the factory example, it would be by rewarding workers on efficiency improvements, quality control, leading to increased productivity and worker satisfaction. These can change, right? Like what I'm saying here is like it can change, right? From business to business. like some tech companies don't do the same as other tech companies, right? So it's like you can't necessarily um umbrella them all into one category, right? So it's easier for some businesses in different sectors to say, okay, you contributed X amount, like the plumbing example I gave in my first video. That's super simple. It's super simple, but that's how often like service work um is calculated. It's like I made X amount of money for the business. You know what I mean? So it's like everything's clear cut in those like types of businesses. But when you get into those different sectors, it can be more challenging, but it's very possibly done. It's not impossible at all. I gave a few examples here, like, and how these on how the contributions to the business can be tracked. So resistance to change can be one of the major challenges for Confluencism. Some workers in management may resist the transition to Confluencism. So a way to address this would be by providing clear communication, education, and support on the system. That is one of the main reasons I made this channel, was to spread awareness on what Confluencism could be and what it will be for the future. If people actually support it and even contribute their own ideas to Confluencism, it would greatly benefit the system as a whole, addressing concerns and criticisms. Confluencism, like any economic system, faces concerns and criticisms. It is important to address these concerns and provide evidence to support the benefits of the system. Concern 1. Confluencism is too idealistic. My counterargument to this would be, while Confluencism may seem idealistic, there are real-world examples of worker-owned businesses that demonstrate its feasibility. By combining the best aspects of socialism and capitalism, Confluencism creates a practical and balanced economic system. Confluencism will lead to inefficiency. My counterargument to this would be, Confluencism promotes efficiency by aligning workers' interests with the success of the company. When workers have a stake in the company's success, they are to be more motivated and productive and innovative. Confluencism is difficult to implement. Implementing any new system comes with its challenges, but Confluencism can be introduced gradually through pilot projects and phased implementation. Education and training can help with workers and management adopt the new system. So, because of the flexibility of this system, it allows for gradual transition into the system if it were to be officially adopted. So, of course, you can't overnight switch from capitalism to socialism, or socialism to capitalism, or capitalism Confluencism, right? So it's like, it's the same thing. People talk about gradually transitioning an economy to another system, right? So it's like, it's the same as any other problem, right? So any new economic system would be difficult to implement, right? Confluencism undermines traditional management structures. Confluencism does not eliminate management structures, but democratizes them. Workers elect higher-ups like presidents and boards of directors, ensuring that leadership is accountable to the employees. This democratic approach can lead to more transparent and fair decision-making. So, it does keep a traditional management structure. However, I would like to say like I said, it democratizes them, but it instead builds from the ground up, right? So it starts with the workers, and then they would elect their higher ups. So it starts from the ground and goes up instead of it starting from the top and going down. So, it creates a more fair and balanced system for the workers and the people who they elect. Future prospects and vision. Confluencism offers a vision for a more equitable and sustainable economic future. By combining the strengths of socialism and capitalism, Confluencism aims to create a system that benefits all members of society. Confluencism can contribute to economic stability by ensuring fair profit distribution and reducing income inequality. This can lead to a more resilient economy that is less prone to crises. Social equity. By promoting worker ownership and profit sharing, Confluencism can help address social inequalities and provide opportunities for all individuals to thrive. Confluencism encourages sustainable business practices by aligning workers' interests with long term success. This can lead to more environmentally responsible decisions and practices. Confluencism envisions an economy where growth benefits everyone, not just a select few. Workers have a say in business decisions and share the profits, leading to a more motivated, engaged workforce. Businesses operate in a way that is environmentally sustainable and socially responsible. In traditional capitalist companies, the concentration of risk on a single owner or small group of stakeholders justifies their larger share of profits. However, in Confluencism, where ownership is distributed among the workers, it is essential to have mechanisms in place to mitigate and manage risk effectively. One such mechanism is the use of insurance policies tailored for worker-owned businesses. Worker-owned businesses can mitigate risk by purchasing comprehensive insurance policies. These policies can cover various types of risks, including protecting against damage to physical assets such as buildings, equipment, and inventory. Property insurance protects against damage to physical assets such as buildings, equipment, and inventory. Liability insurance covers legal liabilities arising from accidents, injuries, or damages caused by the business operations. Business interruption insurance provides coverage for lost income and operating expenses if the business is temporarily unable to operate due to a covered event. Workers' compensation insurance ensures that workers are compensated for injuries or illnesses sustained on the job. By having these insurance policies in place, worker-owned businesses can distribute the financial burden of unexpected events, ensuring that no single worker bears the entire of the risk. Risk pooling. Worker-owned businesses can form cooperatives or associations to pool their risks. By joining forces, multiple businesses can create a collective insurance fund that provides coverage for all members. This can also lead to lower insurance premiums and better risk management. Diversifying business operations can help mitigate risk. Worker-owned businesses can explore multiple revenue streams, products, or services to reduce dependence on a single source of income. This diversification can provide a buffer against market fluctuations and economic downturns. Financial reserves. Establishing financial reserves is another effective risk mitigation strategy. Worker-owned businesses can set aside a portion of their profits to a reserve fund. This can also be used to cover expenses or losses, ensuring that business remains financially stable during challenging times. Financial reserves can be invested in other local businesses, fostering community growth and economic stability. By supporting local enterprises, worker-owned businesses can create a network of mutually beneficial relationships. So, the financial reserves can be used for investment opportunities. So, scaling businesses. Reserves can also be invested in businesses that are scaling, providing them with necessary capital to expand. This can lead to higher returns on investment, which can be reinvested into the reserve fund. Set returns. Unlike traditional investing where ownership is bought for profit, Confluencism maintains worker ownership. Investments can be structured to provide set returns, building equity over time without diluting ownership. The returns on investments can also cover things like insurance policies, reducing the financial burden on the business. Over time, the financial reserve can grow, allowing the business to invest more in companies and see larger returns. This accumulated wealth can act as a buffer during financial downturns. By having a robust reserve fund, businesses can mitigate risks more effectively, ensuring that stability and continuity is even in challenging times. Lowering the burden. The financial burden on workers and businesses is reduced, as a reserve fund can be used to cover unexpected expenses and losses. So, effective risk mitigation strategies ensure that worker-owned businesses remain financially stable even in the face of unexpected challenges. This stability allows businesses to continue operating and providing income to workers. Shared responsibility. By distributing risk among all workers, Confluencism promotes a sense of shared responsibility. Workers are more likely to be invested in the success and safety of the business, leading to a more collaborative and supportive work environment. Having robust risk mitigation measures in place can enhance trust among workers, customers, and stakeholders. Knowing that the business is prepared for potential risks, it can help build confidence and strengthen relationships. Risk mitigation is a crucial aspect of Confluencism, ensuring that worker-owned businesses can thrive in a competitive market. By leveraging insurance policies, risk pooling, diversification, financial reserves, and risk management training, these businesses can effectively manage and distribute risk. This approach does not only protect the business, but also promotes a fair and equitable economic environment where all workers can share in the success and stability of the enterprise.